Hey everybody, welcome into Rock Painting 101, where we give you fun, new rock painting ideas that anybody can create. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you do, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Let's get painting. So I see a few of you joining in live. Feel free to drop where you're watching from, and we're gonna go ahead and get started. So as you can see, we have two separate designs we're gonna be doing today. They are both kind of the same style, but just showing that you can do a few different things once you see the tutorial, and they're both cute and fun to do, and you can do it in different shapes as well. So we'll kind of work between doing an ornament and a tree at the same time. That way we can balance back and forth with our dry time. So we are going to move these a little bit up and out of the way here, and we will get started. I see some of you joining in. Hello, Sandy, Julia. The first thing I'm going to do is show you here on our ornament. I'm going to make a circle on here. Now you can look around your house for something that's circle, especially if you're going right on a white stone. You want this black outline circle to be as round as possible. So I'll show you, like these two here, I actually traced around a glue stick. I've got two different sizes of glue sticks that I traced around to create these circles. So anything will do, anything that fits on your stone. For this one, we're going to do quite a bit bigger. I've got this votive holder, and the bottom's actually a smaller circle than the top. So you can kind of play around with different things until you find something that you don't mind tracing around to get a nice circle on your rock. So we're going to start by getting that on there. You do want to leave a little space for your hook at the top. So if you've got like a point here, you want to sink it down just a little bit so that you have an area that you can add a top to. I think I've got enough space left over there. And then we're just going to trace around this. And today I'm using my the PCMR Poscas. If you've got extra fine Posca paint pens, that will work as well. As far as the colors, if you don't have a bunch of colors and maybe you just have an extra fine black for lining, you can use dotting tools and acrylic paints for filling in these designs. That works really well. I've done plenty of my dangles and doodle style rocks using the dotting tools, or even toothpicks and things like that that you might have around the house. Get it all the way around. And there we go. We've got a pretty good circle here on our stone to get us started. Clean up my lines a little bit here. All right, so now you got to decide where the top of your ornament's going to be, and then we're just going to add that on so that we can make our rings with the top in mind, like that. So you could decide how many different layers you want to do on your design here. So you could start here near the top and create these rings from left to right, and you'll kind of arch them down and around here. I'm going to space mine out a decent amount. And the thing here is, once you get them all on, if one seems off a little bit, you can thicken up a line if you need to create a different arch. See, on this one I got a little too tight, so I made the line a little bit thicker. So that's a way that you can play with the angle of your curve a little bit. I feel like this one got a little straight on me here, so what I'll do is I'm going to follow this curve here, and we'll come down and back up, and then on the opposite side, so we'll thicken up this line here, and we'll actually go along the top part of the line so that thickness carries through, but you've got a little bit better of a curve. See how that just fixes that? So I am going to do some designs on here first, and then we're going to trace out our tree before we fill in our ornament design. So as you can see up here, I've got a lot of different things that you can do just between the ones that you see done here. You can doodle out different designs. I know I was showing the sweater rocks last week, and I had a whole post-it note of just different designs and things that I could add onto the sweater rocks. So play around, doodle up a few different things that you might want to use. I do like the little dangles, and things like that. So once you've decided what you want to have on your stone, just start laying down the designs, and we're going to come fill these in with color. So they're pretty forgiving. I'm going to create these a little bit larger since this is a larger ornament, and I'm going to space them apart. So I'll do longer ones and then a shorter one in between, just to kind of stagger the color a little bit more since I have the space. And I am turning slightly so that the points are kind of heading towards, if you had a point at the top of your bulb. Just makes more visual sense. We might have one kind of popping out over here. There we go. And you can also do, I've got one here and I've got one here on the tree. You can do a secondary line. I'm going to do that one here. Got a little piece of hair there. That you can fill in with your color as well, just to add another area of color. There you go, like that. I'm going to do my points at the top here. And for those that are here now, while we're watching live, you can vote while I finish lining this, and we'll line our tree. What color should we make the inside of this ornament? I got these ones available. I'm not going to go hunting for anything extra. Can you see those on there? So green, blue, yellow, red. I've got a gold and a silver as well. So I'm going to kind of glance up and down here and see if anybody's got a suggestion here. Whoever kind of throws one out. I see red. That's the first one I looked up and saw. So we're going to go with red. I do love red ornaments. I tend to put a lot of red ornaments on my tree. So I see a couple, another red. Okay, good. We'll go with red. And that will be a nice big red ornament. Kind of got a little sloppiness on my line here, so I'm just going to retrace it here. There we go. And then now we've got this little area down here. I'm going to do some big scallop edges. And again, with these two, we're kind of curving the rock as we go. Or I'm turning my rock as I go slightly, so that it's aiming towards the top there. And I'm going to just do a secondary line down here at the bottom, and we'll do a stripe down there of our red. All right, so we're going to set this one off to the side for now while we let that black really set in, so we don't pull any of that black into our color. And we're going to line our tree real quick. So first things first, I'm going to place my star at the top of the rock, so I've got a place for my tree to head. If you're not great at freehanding stars, you can go on, here, we'll even do that today. I'm going to go on real lightly with the pencil and do my star where you kind of crisscross, have all those extra lines there. Now I'm going to outline the edges, and then when that dries, we can go back and get the inside lines out of there. That way we get a nice sort of symmetrical star here on the top of our tree. And let me get, I like to have my post-it notes here. We're going to go ahead and use that to make the sidelines of our tree. I'm just going to do the bottom here first, where the edges of that star get dry. And I give it a little bit of a roundness to it. Okay. So we're going to go right to that tip of our tree, or the tip of our star right here in the bottom. To the edge of our tree here. That way we get a pretty straight line that we're working with. There we go. the same thing, we're going to create these kind of lines curving slightly coming down our tree. And you can make them different widths apart. You can do a couple close together. All the way down to the bottom. And then we're just going to add our designs on here. So let's go ahead and make sure we're kind of playing around here so that they're not exactly the same. So I've got this tree up here, and I want them to be a little bit different. So I can use the same designs, but just kind of mix up how I have them layered, and then it will give it a completely different look. So let's do our little scallop edges all the way at the bottom here. There we go. We'll do our dingle ones here. So we'll do the same thing. We'll kind of alternate them up and down. Okay. We'll fill that in with the green. I'm just going to do the triangle tops way up here. That. And I might just fill the top tip there with green. Need something in this area. Let's see. I'm gonna leave it for right now because I don't have something that I really specifically want at this exact second. So we'll add more to it. Don't force it. All right, so we had quite a few people say they wanted to do the red here, so that's what we're gonna do. So we're just gonna start filling in. You can reline any of your outside edges with black when this is all said and done. So it's better to get your color all the way out into those tips, even if it causes you to go over your black line slightly, because you can come back with that black and really crisp up your edges. It's better than not getting your full coverage of color. So again, I'm using the 1MRs today, the PC 1MR pin type. If you have just the regular 1M pens, those would work great. If you don't have paint pens, dotting tools would work great as well. I'm just gonna come in here and we'll just fill in all of these spaces with our red. Like I said, you can go on top of that black. And in certain areas, depending on the paint pens you may have, you might need a second coat if you're going over the top of black a little bit, and that's fine. Way out into that edge. Like that. Once you kind of play around with these designs, you can really make these really intricate. You could make each one of these arches, you know, design inside of your red. This is just a jumping off point, you know, 101. So for the most part, there's a few places where I'll definitely touch up the black. I'm bringing it in closer. So see, like along the arches, you can just reline that curve so that you get nice crisp edges. It really kind of makes a difference. And you can kind of thicken up some of the black lines too. I ended up doing that when I was finishing up the tree over here. So there's no rules to this one. So I think I like that singular stripe there, and I think that's why I didn't want to add anything to it, but I'm going to add below one more ring, and then we're gonna do our little rectangles below it, like that. So we still get to keep that stripe. I think that's why I didn't want to mess with it. I like the little stripe in the center there. So we will start filling in our tree. First I'm actually going to erase the little pencil lines in here because pencil can pull into yellow pretty easily, and I don't want to muddy up my yellow, so we'll do that. White erasers work great on white rocks. And we're going to start filling in these shapes next. You know what? I'm going to do the top of this star in gold. I did the other one in with the yellow, but we'll do gold for this star. Like I said, I'm going to get it all the way out into those points because I will reline that with the black. I want that gold all the way out there. There we go. Okay, so I am going to do a couple finishing touches here on our ornament. Also, the gold is still a little wet. I'm going to come back to that last. I do want to do just a few vertical lines. I'll show you in here. You know how those kind of tend to have some, like almost a folded texture. So I want to add just a couple little vertical lines in my hook holder section there, like that. When we're done. There we go. So if you come along here, like I said, see how my paint kind of just bubbled over just a little bit. So I'm going to redo the whole line. Just crisps it up again, and then I can do my arched edges one more time. Anywhere where that paint spilled over. A nice even thickness of line. See how that just kind of gives it that nice crisp finished look. Same here when I was filling this in. Bottom part of this line, little spillage over the edge. Just redo that. That's just about the gist of it. Your hands are too shaky for redoing the line. Okay, if you're having a problem with that, then I would just be a little bit more intentional or careful when you're doing your filling in. If you're not comfortable going back over the lines, if you have shaky, try to do smaller sections at a time. So see, like with these triangles, I tend to take a breath and then just do one little line at a time, intentionally, just one little section at a time. I try not to talk in the middle of a line. Sometimes I get shaky when I have too much coffee. And doing smaller sections can sometimes help with that. Gold is dry. So come in here and do it all. There we go. All right, so let's see if my gold's dry on my star. I'm gonna reline that star. The rest of the relining I'm not gonna worry about doing while I'm live with you guys, but I do want that star top. And then we're gonna get out of here for this week. So thanks everybody that joined in live today. I'll be live again next Thursday with something fun and new for you to try out. I'm gonna go back over this green section because remember I went right over that black line, so we're gonna do a second coat there. So if you haven't yet, you can find a way to turn the notifications on to get notified when I go live. Make sure you're following the page. And we've got lots of older tutorials that I've been posting through the holiday season too to get you inspired in case you haven't been following from the beginning. We've been around 4 years now, so we got lots of content if you're new to the page to look through. So I hope you all have a wonderful day and weekend, and we will see you back here next week. Bye-bye.